The following is a presentation of SC State Athletics.
The South Carolina State Bulldogs close out the 2022 college football season at home against the Norfolk State Spartans. The Spartans, coached by Dawson Odoms, played a brutal out-of-conference schedule this year with the likes of James Madison, Marshall, Hampton, and North Carolina A&T, and they could muster only one win on the season. South Carolina State met a similar fate with a schedule that included UCF, USC, Florida A&M, and North Carolina A&T. And the Bulldogs could never reach the consistency this season that they had during their championship run of 2021. Which team will take a positive step, play well, and close the season with a win? You're about to find out. Coming up next on the Pough Show. It's caught, touchdown! South Carolina State outside kick. He can pitch it to the end zone. Score it. Pressure coming. Got to let it go. Throws it out there. Caught! Touchdown! Brings it back. South Carolina State from 16-yard out. Breaks through the 15, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Ventrell Flowers. Devontae Green got wrapped up and gets him on the turf. Coach Pough, the final game of the season, Norfolk State, South Carolina State. Both teams having a tough season so far.
You're exactly right. The only difference is they weren't expecting to have the kind of year that we thought we'd have. And it's tough for a team that had high expectations like we've had to be in this kind of situation. But at the same time, we're going to slug it out today and try to find a way to get us a win.
Coach, you played a lot of young players last week. You expect young players this week. Prometheus Franklin went down. What will you do at quarterback on the offensive side?
We'll play Tyrese Nick at quarterback today. And Tyrese brings us back to a place where, we feel comfortable in the offense that we're going to surround him with. Now, we're a little bit banged up in the offensive line, too. Cam Johnson is out, so we're going to move Nick Case out to tackle, which kind of throws our whole offensive line kind of a little bit of disarray. But at the same time, we've got to figure out how to do it. And I think Tyrese gives us a little bit better chance because he can run around and create a little bit himself. Earlier
this week, you and I talked about the edge and the fact that you had to make some changes. This defense started out here with Patrick Godbolt and, of course, Jablonski Green at the end. It's changed a lot because of injuries. Talk about what you'll do today.
Yeah, we've lost Godbolt for, some practices. He's going to try to play a little bit today. We know that Jablonski is done for the year. He's had surgery. We've got Gerard Kirksey that's playing there. Jamal McKinney can fill in a little bit, and he's a young man that transferred from down at Savannah State about a semester ago. We think that he can do some things for us, but the bottom line is we've got to do a great job. Our linebackers, BJ and Aaron Smith, all look at Jaden Jones, that whole crew have got to really play well.
You talk about the defense, coach, the secondary coach. You had some kids come in and play well last week for you, especially at the safety position for South Carolina State.
We did, but we've lost all of our safeties, which is really what might be the biggest issue that we've had. Dodo is starting to really come on and play really well for us. So, we've got some guys that, that I think can do the job for us back there in the secondary.
Talk a little bit about Norfolk State coaching, what Coach Odoms tries to do, because they've been kind of banging together, but they got 4 running backs that they list that could possibly play and 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, they do. Their quarterbacks, both Kuhn and Johnson are both pretty good runners. And one guy was a Citadel option guy, and the other guy was at Eastern Illinois, and both those guys throw it around fairly decent, and both of them can run it. So, they give you some pretty good little energy in a way where it's hard to kind of pin those guys down in situations where they can just kind of create. It worries me because it was similar last week to the quarterback from Howard, the Gerald Williams kid. Got a lot of first downs on third and longs, run plays. Pass plays that he just kind of broke down and ran. So we got to worry about that kind of stuff today here.
Coach, it doesn't change very much. What do you need to do to get a win?
Well, we've got to create more offensively. We got to get Tyrese going. We got to be able to run the football that way. I don't know if we can throw our way out of this deal. I think we got to be able to run the football.
All right, Coach, best of luck this afternoon.
Thanks so much, Ernest.
Back deep for South Carolina State, Rakim White and Jordan Smith. It's going to be Rakim White fielding at the 3-yard line. He calls a fair catch at the 3, 10 on the line of scrimmage for Norfolk State. Maros fumbles the snap, and it is recovered by Norfolk State. It went right through the hands of Blake Maros. Long snap count by Coons. Coons back to pass, pressure coming. Flips it out, has a man out there. It is knocked away, and it's a touchdown for Norfolk State. Deani Dixon is in at running back for South Carolina State, one of the young running backs on his team. He's a redshirt freshman from Blythewood. They give it to Dixon. Nope. Tyrese pulls it out, keeps himself at the 20, cuts back at the 15, at the 10, at the 5. Touchdown, Tyrese Nick, keeping it himself from 24 yards out. Eric Brown to snap the football. Play action fake. Tyrese wants it off, throws it out. Touchdown, Shaq Davis on the slant from 18 yards out. Shotgun formation. Lennon in the backfield with Otto Coons. Snap it back to Coons. Play action fake. Pass thrown out in the flat. It is caught. Stiff arm and on the move at the 45, at the 40. 35-30. Getting up the field. That is Daquan Felton for the touchdown. Daquan Felton caught it out in the flat. Shotgun formation now for Tyrese Nick on 2nd down and 8. They give it to Deani Dixon. Dixon breaks free at the 45, at the 50, at the 45-40. 35-30. Deani Dixon at the 25-20. 15-10. Deani Dixon 5. Touchdown, Deani Dixon. What a run. 57 yards for Deani Dixon. Coons back to pass. Coons throws it out there. Fade pattern. Caught. Touchdown. Easy pickings. Daquan Felton. So, with 7:48 to go here in the first half, we are right back where we started from. It's South Carolina State 21, Norfolk State 21. Bulldogs returning left to right. High end over end kick. Rakim didn't signal for a fair catch at the 7. He's at the 10. He's at the 15, at the 20, at the 25. Rakim at the 30, at the 35, 40, 45, 50, 45, down to the 42-yard line of Norfolk State. And, man, have we been waiting for that. 2 receivers each way for the Bulldogs. Football back on the logo. They give it to Rakim. Rakim wants to throw it. Throws it long. Got Shaq Davis out there. Caught at the 15. Touchdown. Shaq Davis on the toss. 4-down lineman for the Bulldogs. Play action fake. They throw a slant. It's knocked right. It's intercepted. B.J. Davis pulls it down for the Bulldogs. There's a snap. Play action fake. Throws a slant. It's too high. Intercepted by Norfolk State. At the 40, at the 35, 30. 25 out of bounds on the interception for Norfolk State. Shotgun formation. They throw it out. It is caught. Touchdown. Easy pickings.
Wow.
And that will be the end of the first half of play here in Orangeburg. And our score, South Carolina State 28, Norfolk State 28. All right, Coach, first half of this ball game, we got off to an inauspicious start, had a fumble on a snap and a punt formation, and gave Norfolk State a short field, and that was all they needed.
Yeah, Norfolk did a good job of keeping a lot of pressure on your punting game and ran us off the tracks at the very beginning. We ended up dropping the ball on the ground, and they got it, and of course they get a crazy play for an early score, so we behind almost before we even get started good.
But, you know, then you get into the football game. Tyrese Nick came out and really moved the football really well. And we talk about the problems South Carolina State had on offense. You can see Norfolk State had problems dealing with our offense.
Exactly. We had some success in both the run and the pass game. Probably did a better job with the run game than we've done maybe all year. And found some nice play action balls off of the run, which you can get when you can really run the football. So I was pleased with the fact that we got something going there after having gotten behind.
So you start talking about getting something going in the run game, Coach. You had to make some changes on the offensive line because you had Cam Johnson out.
Yeah.
But you moved Nick Tace over to tackle. He had a penalty, but then he settled down, Coach. And is offensive tackle in his future or what?
Well, I don't know if it is. I think we'll get Cam Johnson back, and Cam's pretty good. What we really got to do is find another guard. And we put Nick back inside. Eric Brown's the real deal at center. we need one more offensive lineman, but we need to actually get a little bit of stability in that offensive line as a whole where they can be in the same place over time. What's happening is we moving them around so much, trying to fill the gaps, trying to take up all of the different injury spaces and that kind of stuff that I don't know if we really ever get totally coordinated.
So you start talking about that offensive line. Chandler Muller played an awful lot on Saturday as well. But in the run game, Coach, Ja'Cory Benson and Dhani Dixon gave you some burst. And the Simmons kid came in and gave you some burst on offense.
Exactly. Simmons didn't play but a little bit at the very end, a little bit in the middle of the third quarter. But he's got a little something there. And you can see a certain little burst in him. Dhani Dixon is a journeyman walk-on guy who got his shot. I was so happy for him. Made a big run, and it was just one of those kind of plays where it was just totally boom, wide open. And then, we got Ja'Cory Benson going some today. So I was pleased with the fact that we got some run game going. And what I really want to do now is to see if we can use that as some kind of a measuring stick for what we got to do in the future.
Bulldogs ended up tying Norfolk State 28-28 at the half. And going back to the first half, Coach, hit a couple of big plays to Shaq Davis for a touchdown.
Yeah, and that's the way it kind of works. When you got your run game going, then your play action game off of that deal. One of them was a RPO, run pass option, and one of them was a little bit of a jet sweep. And Torrance Singletary, who used to be a quarterback, pulled up and threw it to him. And I was a little bit concerned because Torrance pulled up a little bit too early, I thought. He didn't give it a chance to, the play action, a chance to really set. But he threw a ball between two defenders in a way that Shaq broke in between them and was able to grab it and run it and score.
And I'll tell you what, that was a heck of a play on Saturday. That was 88, and I was shocked when I saw that, but that was an incredible play, incredible play, Coach. And it really opened things up because, it's almost like you pull out all the stops.
Well, we did. And what happened later in the game is that we got a run or two off using that same action, which, because we had thrown it a time or two, they had to stay back more.
The way the first half ended on Saturday, Bulldogs and Norfolk State scored 28 points apiece, so we're starting all over to begin the second half. We'll take a time out here on the Buddy Pough Show. We'll come back with more right after these messages. All right, it's time for the Prism Health Injury Report for the Norfolk State game. And Coach, you came into this game with guys already out before the game happened.
Yeah, we had a couple guys to get hurt before we even got started. Cam Johnson, our starting left offensive tackle, missed the entire game. He's got a little bit of a shoulder deal. And during the game, we get down another quarterback. We'd already lost Corey Fields earlier in the year. Last week, we lost Prometheus Franklin. And now, during the game this week, we lost Tyrese Nick. Tyrese's hand got banged up, so he couldn't throw it. And we put Andre Washington in the game at the very end. And I'm going to tell you what, if there's one thing positive out of this whole affair today, was we got a chance to see Andre Washington under those kinds of circumstances. So I was excited by what he did at the very end of the game. And I'm looking forward to his offseason now.
He comes in, Coach, on the last series of the game and converts a 2nd and 29.
He says, Coach, I got you. Don't worry about it. So I said, all right, Andre, let's go. So he gets in there and he makes, a pretty good throw early, and then he moves around a little bit and he makes another throw. And I started saying, hey, yeah, we got something here. So I was really excited at the end. We didn't quite get it done. The game ended with the ball on like the 1-inch yard line or somewhere in that neck of the woods. But it was one of those kind of games where, it was a fun game to watch.
All right, so that's the Prism Health Injury Report for the Norfolk State game. We'll take a time out here on the Buddy Pough Show. We'll have more right after these messages. End-over-end kick is going to be fielded by Butler at the 20-yard line at the 25, at the 30, across the 35, up to about the 43. Good gracious, Bill still on his feet, up to the 44-yard line. Cones fumbles the football. It's picked up by South Carolina State.
Number 97.
Third down. Now we 9 for a first down. Nick back to pass. Nick won it all. Looking long. Throwing it out there. Got old man wide open. Jordan Smith catches it at the 10-5. Touchdown, South Carolina State. Brown's snap is good. Gavin's toe is in it. And boy, Gavin would have made that from 40 yards out.
Boy, he
drilled that through.
Certainly did.
So with 12:49 to go here in the ball game. It's South Carolina State 38, Norfolk State 28. You got DeMarcus Doe over the top this time, Bill, with help.
Yeah, they double.
He's looking that way.
They double team.
Coons is in trouble. Coons is running around. Coons is being chased by B.J. Davis. Throws it out. It is caught. Touchdown. What a catch in the end zone.
I can't
B.J.
believe
Davis couldn't get the Coons. First down and 15. They moved the football back to the 27-yard line. Coons gives it to Keon King trying to get outside. Keon turns it going into 45-50, 45-40, 35-30. Keon King cuts back at the 20. Tackle down to the 15-yard line.
My goodness.
What a run. Handoff. Coons keeps himself at the 15 at the 5. Touchdown, Otto Coons. Brown snaps it back. Throws it out in the pass. It's caught. First down, Shaq Davis. Davis tries to make a man miss. Instead of getting out of bounds, he tries to get upfield at the 28-yard line. Washington back to pass. Washington looking long, throwing it out there. It's caught at the 13-yard line. This is the stuff legends are made of.
How about that?
Washington back to pass. Washington looking. Washington throwing. George Smith catches it. Down to the 20-yard line. Reached for the first down. Shotgun formation, 3rd and 2. Andre back to pass. Andre throwing it out. Rakim White catches it. Rakim White trying to go to the end zone. Ball goes out of bounds at about the 1-yard line. They snap it with 2 seconds. It's an incomplete pass, and that is the end of the ball game. Andre Washington drove the Bulldogs within 2 yards of winning this football game. What a win for Dawson Odoms and the Norfolk State Spartans. 42-38.
Our coach, not as much offense in the third quarter as we had in the first and second quarters, but you know eventually this game will boil down to us having to stop them on defense, but we go up by 10 points in the third quarter.
Yeah, but we need to go up by 14.
Yeah.
That ended up being the difference in the game that way too. But we did get them kind of sort of stopped for the third quarter at least now. In the fourth quarter, it was bam, bam, boom that hit us in a hurry. And I was really disappointed at the very end when we gave up the long run. We had one of our corners that kind of fit back down inside and gave up the outside. But at the same time, we were better in the second half. We gave up 14 points as opposed to 28 that we gave up in the first half.
So you're down 4 in this ball game. You need a touchdown to win the game. You have your starting quarterback out, and you put a guy in who's never been in all season long.
Who's never played a snap of college football. And he goes in, he says, Coach, I got you. I said, let's go, Andre. So he gets in there. And it took me a play or two to really get the sense for the fact that he really did have me. And he gets the football on the field. He makes a couple mistakes. He takes a sack. We give up a holding call. So a combination of all of the stuff that he's doing and we're doing is giving us some issues. But at the same time, he keeps us moving. He gets a 4th down and like 20-something one time, and he gets the ball down close to the goal line. And I'm going to tell you what, if we sell out at the very end and jump over into the goal, into the end zone, we might make that game, a different result. But at the same time, it was an opportunity for us to see that young man, and he gives us some real hope going into the future.
Coach, you and I talked about the fact that sometimes you have to learn from a loss, and obviously with a loss, we got to learn from it. But our team may benefit. This game will last longer having lost this football game than if we'd pulled it out.
You know what, Ernest? I think you might be right. It gives us an opportunity to really go in and evaluate in a way where we got a hard back against what we've done. This was an awful year for us. But at the same time, you got to take this and make some positive out of it. And the positive has got to be the things we fix. The things that we fix can go into another year and improve this football team in leaps and bounds. I don't know if we would have gotten that same kind of sense of urgency out of a win today. So the fact that we lost the football game, that's not a good thing. But at the same time, I'm hoping that it really gives us a sense of urgency in a way that we got to go out and really do some stuff differently in 2023.
All right, we'll take a time out here on the Buddy Pough Show. We'll come back and wrap up the season here on the Buddy Pough Show. So South Carolina State goes down to Norfolk State 42-38 to end the 2022 season. Coach, it's been an interesting season, to say the least, but that's been about it.
You talk about a roller coaster ride. For us to be where we were in 2021, to come back and have this kind of season in 2022 really shows you what can happen if you don't pay attention to your every little thing. And this is a situation here where we've got to go back and really fix a lot of stuff going into the 23 years. So I can tell you that we've got our information and we're going out and we're going to see if we can get this thing fixed for 23.
You know, you're talking about a positive note, Coach. You have to admit, unfortunately, we aren't where we were, but the conference isn't where it was before either. The conference is so much better.
I guarantee you. I picked at those guys a couple years ago when we were getting ready for that COVID season. That spring when some of them weren't playing and they were giving all kind of excuses. And I said, we'll play you. But at the same time, those guys got ready and they came back and they showed me this 2021, 2022 year. So I guarantee you we'll be better in 2023.
You know, Coach, when you talk about what are the things that you're going to work on initially, and I would imagine you want to get started next week.
You're exactly right. Strength and conditioning has got to be a big part of what we do. We got to do some things with tackling. We got to figure out how to get our guys to the point where we can get guys down. You know, we give up too much yards after contact. And then last but not least, we got to get to the point where we can run the football consistently. We ran the football today about as effective as we had all year, but that's been an issue all year that we really cannot overlook. So we got to go back and make sure that we get our offense to the point where we can get a 4th and 1 in the run game and that kind of stuff. So that's our mission coming out of 2022.
So that's going to be the final word for the South Carolina State Bulldogs for the 2022 college football season. The Bulldogs in the season going down to defeat to the Norfolk State Spartans, 42-38. For Coach Buddy Pillman and Robinson, we say so long. We'll see you next season for South Carolina State football.